You, me, and I.
Hello, and how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Just got off work, so I've been doing the day job for the most part.
Hello, day job.
Hello, day job. And in between, I did like 3 separate sketch performances in the last week, so it's been
Nice.
a lot of bouncing around. But creative flow is energy's happening. I get to play kooky
Absolutely.
characters, so that's fun.
Sweet. And you said so 3 separate. Does that also mean like 3 like separate groups and like you're working with individuals?
So the first one was on Friday, and I actually gave away my shift at work to show up, and it was the Young and the Sketchless, which is a troupe that came out of Second City's Pen to Performance program, and then they asked me to join them because they needed another female, a funny female. What, me?
A funny female.
So one of the writers I worked with before, and she asked me to join, which is super exciting. And then the Sunday was my remount of the Orlando Fringe show that I did in May.
Nice.
So that was a different troupe, and we just redid our show for the last time, which was really fun to get it kind of just done. And we had some of my friends came out who hadn't seen it, so it was good. And then last night was the Young and the Sketchless again, which was the same troupe from Friday, but it was actually our own produced show. So it was, we were the headliners of it, so it was good.
Love it, love it. Oh, that's great. You sound like you're like building, I mean, you've always done that, but it sounds like you're really building like a network of people. You've got quite the community over there.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But again, I feel like you can do so many things and never end up working with anyone again. And it has nothing to do with whether or not you're good or not. It's just circumstances and life gets in the way, and people know so many people. And it's just like, yes, I mean, I've been here for 5 years, and I've been working in comedy for 3.5 of those. And so, yeah, I finally feel like I've like put my step into the edge of the pool of sketch comedy. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I can finally sort of sneak my way into the shallow end. So
yeah,
so it just took a really long time to get out of the change room. If we're going with that metaphor, I don't know.
Yeah. I love that metaphor.
Perfect.
I love it.
So glad that you kept it.
In the change room with like the lights off.
Yeah.
And
I have my bathing suit on. I'm like, I don't want to show anyone. I'm so afraid. And that's me and how I've been doing. How about you?
I'm doing good. I am looking at my play Crossroads that was part of the festival that I did in June, and I'm taking a nice little gander at it and seeing about remounting it, seeing about editing it right now. And there's a couple of festivals that are going on in the springtime, and I believe their deadline, from what I've been told, their deadline is the end of January.
Okay.
To submit an application. So it's new work, and it's it's still a 1 act, but hoping to expand it and just sit with my tea and read it over and see what needs to be, just see what needs to be edited or see what needs to, what could be expanded on, because there's always room for expansion. So working on that. And it's interesting that you mentioned improv and sketch, and I really, really miss my time at Second City when I was practicing and when I was in classes, and I do miss stand-up. Like, I do miss improv, and I really found that it was very valuable. Stand-up for my writing, well, for a number of reasons. Stand-up for the mere presence of being on stage as the person, Jamie, as opposed to the actor. And it was a huge challenge. And also to begin writing. I mean, the mere idea of writing a joke was so daunting to me in the beginning, because I was like, you're with friends, for example, and you run into a stranger and you crack a joke and people laugh and you're like, oh, cool, okay, so, I make people laugh, and then all of a sudden it's pen to paper and you're like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in my opinion, so in my experience, so it's yeah, I do miss it. I miss that realm a lot. But it's always about going back to what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, and there's nothing more fulfilling than making people laugh. I really do love that. I mean, I love laughing, so I hope that others find, when I try to do what I do, that they love that as well. So yeah, so stand up. Yeah, just continuing to write and maybe see what happens for the new year. And it's nice to be able to go back and sort of see what you've written a few years ago, or tapes that you've seen yourself on from a few years back, and go, oh my goodness, that's already been like 2 years ago or 4 years ago or whenever it was. And if I did it then what's stopping me now? And I mean, I'm not saying nothing's stopping me. I mean, there's other projects that have come up, but yeah, going back to it and finding the fun in it and finding the community again. And I feel that that's what I really want to sort of hone in on for New Year's is, or the new year rather, is building a community here of other artists who want to just write and create and help along, because there's only so much that you can do yourself, but if you surround yourself by the people who you can bounce ideas off of over a coffee or whatever, it just makes this journey a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I feel like sometimes we end up like we're going through the trenches, you know, like mud up to our knees, and we're like pushing through and pushing through, and we forget that there's other people there with us because we're just like
yeah,
so focused on the like the strength of our own muscles pushing through the mud. I don't know where my head is at today, Jamie. like trying to
it's
come.
in a pool. It's in a pool. It's in a muddy
Yeah,
pool. There's mud. There's water.
there's mud, there's
We're
water.
getting it.
Great. Great.
You know
And what I'm trying to
we're
say
great. We're
is,
soldiers.
yeah, I feel like a lot of the time we're so aware of what other people are doing. We're comparing ourselves to other people while we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do the things we're doing. We're trying to not be better, but just like live up to the standards of other people. And we'd never
Mm-hmm.
actually take that time to realize that everyone's there with us for the most part. And
Yep.
the true artists, the people who are making art to create because they find art beautiful, us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever art's fun, whatever people are doing art for. We forget that it's a community, and this is it's so easy to get consumed in just doing your own thing. And even if you're working on a show and you're working on a project that requires other actors, you're still being like, well, what is my part in this? And I'm not like doing a good enough job as myself, but forgetting that it's like a whole. And I feel like that is a bad hole to go down to. And you're talking
Yeah.
about working with other people, or you were talking briefly about that, and I've been trying to get just like go to coffee shops with other people who are writers and just like have a writing session
Mm-hmm.
where we're not chatting, we're not hanging out, we're just all with our computers, and then being like, hey, what do you think of this? And they're like, hey, that's funny. Okay, great, I'm gonna throw it in. Like having just that energy of people who are all kind of working on different things, different projects, but we're all working on something and realizing, oh yeah, like everyone's doing this. So
Yes, yes. And creativity breeds creativity is what I've been told by a very distinguished lady. Um, and it's true though. And it's, I feel like you can only feed off of the energy that you have if you're sitting in that coffee shop, or you're sitting with somebody on the couch, or, you're connecting through different provinces. Like it's all about finding like what fit you have and what you offer to the projects, and to keep that muscle going, I guess, amidst all of the frustration. And I don't know but I mean, I don't have the answers, but I feel like the only answer I do have is not to allow the frustration to take over, but to utilize it, I guess. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I mean,
I think we're both kind of in this space where we know what's best. We know like we need to get over that, but we don't know how.
we
Yeah.
don't know how. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that you say that, because a friend of mine told me that the other day, and she's not in the arts at all. She's just like, we were just talking about life, and she had said, you know, you're supposed to be happy and you're this and that. And she's like, how do you even do that? Like, how do you even just like be happy or find out what makes you happy? Or, yeah. And I don't have the answers. And all I've been told by people who I ask that same thing, they're like, it's a lifetime of finding out what that is. It's not going to happen in 24 hours, but me being the impatient person I am, I'm like, no, I want it now.
Oh, we always
give it to me now.
Yeah.
What's going on in what else is going on in TDOT? Like anything coming up that you're going to see, or anything that our viewers should know about?
So I'm doing this is actually something that I'm very nervous for. It's a storytelling show, which I've never done any storytelling. It's like a comedians tell sex stories. Yeah, but it's also like spread out across the LGBTQA spectrum. So it's like they have different people from different like types of sexuality. So like she specifically asked me because of my own personal preference. So I'm excited about it because I'm interested to know everyone else's stories, and also because I don't think I've ever told a story such as this in front of an audience. So I'm interested and excited and very nervous, and that's on November 20th.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. And when's that happening?
November 25th, so it'll probably be after this episode's out, but it might happen again. It's called Kiss and Tell.
It might happen again. Oh, I love that. Who came up with that concept? I guess somebody
Coco Galore. She's a great, amazing improviser in Toronto. She's with Coco and Daphne, which is a duo here in Toronto, and they're great, and you can see them pretty much everywhere. But Coco and my friend Candace are producing it, so yeah.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
We'll see.
And interesting.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm interested to see how that turns out. And what about over there in the van?
In the Vancouver, I know there's a lot of Christmas shows coming up. Getting a lot of notices on Facebook about Christmas shows. And my cousin is also encouraging me to be like, let's go to this, let's go to that. So yeah, trying to just go see. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like trying to go and see as much as I possibly can also fuels me. And I think I haven't been going to see a lot. So I definitely need to get on that train. But yeah, Vancouver's really great about being very festive. I mean, as sure, like a lot of cities are. Or going to see like solo things by myself. Like I feel like one day I just want to walk outside and just Google things to do in Vancouver and go and see the festival. There's like a festival of lights that happens, and you know, even just standing and watching a display of Santa's workshop, and you know how people have put together those things, like that also entices me too. So yeah, but it seems pretty quiet on this end besides that. So but you know, just keep watching and keep going out there. And what I'd really love to do is, because I miss stand-up and I miss improv, is trying to find some classes for the new year. I always try to book workshops or classes in the new year, because it definitely propels me to get pumped for January, because January is just like, oh my God, in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
So trying to do that, and just trying to go and see stuff. There's a comedy bar here called Comedy Mix, and they always have great amateur nights, and they have great lineups, and you know, they'll have like 5 or 6 comedians on, and it's a really intimate, it's like a small room, but it's very intimate, and the comedians are great, and everybody's really, you know, really supportive of one another. And that also, whenever I leave, I remember I saw the show, I believe it was in the springtime, and it was lovely to just leave and go, oh right, that person's doing that, and I'm allowed to do that too.
Yeah.
Like, just because he or she is doing it doesn't mean I can't.
Exactly.
But then it's like trying to maneuver on the how to like get to do it. So yeah. But fun times ahead. Times ahead. It's been like a full year since I've been here, so we'll see what the next year brings. I could still be here. I could be back in Toronto. I could be in Singapore.
You could be anywhere. We don't know these things.
Exactly. We don't know these things, but the one thing that I do know is that your creativity never leaves you.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, you can, is something that I just came into like when I got here, because I was so worried, like, oh my God, what if I come to Vancouver and I just stop, or it stops me. And I noticed that even in this transitional period where I'm still trying to figure life out and who the artist that I am, that it hasn't left. And if anything, it's like holding on for dear life. And I've realized that no matter where I am in the world or where you are, or where anybody is, hold on to the fact that your creativity will not leave you.
That's great. I think that's a great little episode. A bunch of different things here, there, and everywhere, and frustrations, and also just like getting through life, which is awesome. And I think I'm gonna end it like this: is I want to end it positively. And as you're saying, you're going out and you're seeing these people doing things that are allowing you to do something. I would love to hear about people like calling out other performers that they love to watch, like. Who is someone that you've seen that you're like, yeah, this person like inspires me to do art. Like this is the reason, and not even someone famous, like even someone who you may have seen at this comedy club, Jay, or like anyone who you see on Facebook who's just like doing stuff, or you've talked to that like it just like it really inspires your creativity. So I would love to hear from you guys out there. Tell us, please. Talk to us, please.
Tell us, share your stories, please, and we just are all rooting for everybody, and keep doing yourself and keep doing you, and or do whatever you
you do. Yeah, that sounds great.
Be it in like a swimming pool or
a mud with a trench. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
In the trenches.
We're soldiers, is what you're trying to say.
Yes,
is what you're trying to tell us.
Yes, we're soldiers.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we're soldiers. You're soldiers. We'll be in touch soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And adios.
Okay, bye.
See you soon. Bye.
You are so special. Maybe you don't think so. If we both took a moment to listen to one another, then maybe we could know what we both know. You, me, and us. You, me, and us.
No, I don't want to get wet. Chlorine will mess up my hair.
It'll mess up my hair and it'll blind me.
Yeah.
And I need goggles.
I'm gonna throw it away. I'm throwing it away. Like to go down in like Alice fell in the hole. I don't know.
I'm reflecting. That was like a brief second of reflection.